What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Bland back in the building for another episode of the Shop Podcast. How is everybody feeling this week? Thank you all for joining us this week. We got another awesome special guest on. He's actually a returning special guest. Was on the show not too long ago. We'll get to that in a second, as well as we'll get to the panel. Once again, I do want to say thank you guys for joining us this week. Hopefully, everybody's doing well in quarantine. I know some of the restrictions are easing, so some of us are starting to get back to normal, hopefully. So hope everybody's doing well for that. But before we get into anybody's introductions, I do have a special announcement myself, and the news actually already broke like a day or two ago on Twitter. But I do want to announce that we are in a partnership right now with BG4GHub.com. So I know two of my partners here, Stag as well as Centurion, are already part of the crew, but we're doing like a partnership thing. Shout out to Tom. Me and him been working together for the last probably week or so to get this done. It's just an opportunity for more people to see the show, as well as them to fill a need on the actual website as well. But who knows what'll come of this? This is something that we've talked about doing. I've talked about expanding, doing different things, partnerships like that. So hopefully you guys support that. The link to go see the actual Shop Podcast portion of BG4G Hub is in the description below, so you guys check it out. But let's go ahead and dive right into our guests. Shout out to you, Luke, for coming on once again. One of my favorite people in the gaming community, guys. Host of Xbox Expansion Podcast, one of the most well thought out, well put together podcasts. Very, very fair podcast as well. Super knowledgeable, man. Let everybody know what's going on with you, Luke. How you been, brother?
I have been great. Thank you for having me on once again. One of my favorite parts of the week is the shop, so I appreciate you guys having me here. We have after Inside Xbox, lot to talk about, man. I am stoked to be here, man. Thanks.
Appreciate it, man. Once again, you guys, his information is in the description below. Please go check him out. Do me a favor. The show is phenomenal. I don't watch a lot of podcasts. I'm extremely picky. He is one of the few that I do keep up with on a consistent basis. Once again, Luke, thank you for taking a little bit of time out this Saturday to hang out with us, man. Appreciate you. Let's go ahead and get to the compadres here, the fellas. Let's start with you, Stag. How you been, brother? What you been playing? How you been feeling, man?
I've been okay. I've been playing video games, and I'm always tired. So that pretty much just sums up what I've been doing. I've been working on the backlog a lot, trying to just clean up some old games, get them off my hard drive. And I started Assassin's Creed Origins because with the announcements of Valhalla, I really want to get through Origins and Odyssey before I get to...
Good luck.
Yeah, I know. It'll take, and the way I play games, man, I'll be playing Odyssey or Origin in like 6 years still. So.
Can I tell you the same thing I just told my brother? Go ahead and start Origins now, and you'll get about a third of the way to the release of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and then start Odyssey, and that'll get you the other 2/3 of the way.
I play like 2 hours a week of the game, so like I'm never gonna finish it.
Oh my god, dude! See you in a couple.
I've played like 4 hours of Origin, so like I mean, it's cool. I enjoy it. I definitely like it more than I've enjoyed the previous installments of Assassin's Creed games. I couldn't even do very much in those other older ones, like the original two. But I like the change in the format definitely. So, but that's all I've been doing.
They had a good soft reboot with Origins that I think is boding well for Valhalla.
It's just it's so much to do. Like I'm not one of those guys that really likes to do a whole ton of shit in games. I'm like, just give me the fucking meat and potatoes.
Nice. So
yeah, but I'll do it because it is enjoyable.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal game, and that's the turning point. That's where they went from little less stealth, little more RPG. That's where they made that transition.
Which is funny because I'm not a huge fan of stealth, but I'm like all about stealth killing in that game for some reason. Like, I can hide in the bushes and whistle your dumbass over here. Come on over.
I feel like the RPG nature of it is you get to choose stealth or just running in like a madman and just slaughtering everybody.
Which is a really dope option. So let's go ahead and go over to you, Centurion. What's been going on with you? How you been outside of your knee situation? Glad to hear that you're doing well and feeling a little bit better, but how you been this week, brother, outside of that?
I've been doing great, man. Like Stagger, tackling the backlog, actually wanting to finish up Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I've got about, almost 200 hours into the main campaign, exploring the world. Just now starting the DLC, so good luck to you, Stagger, on that one.
And complete editions on both of those games, so good luck to me.
So definitely been hammering away on the backlog. I also picked up Resident Evil 7.
Nice.
Good
Biohazard.
game.
That was good.
Oh, man.
Scared the shit out of me.
I'm glad you guys liked it because I still don't know. The jury is still debating for
I
me.
saved a lot.
Like
I'm
you
saving a
don't
lot.
like it, or you
See,
are not enjoying it because it's scary.
For me, Resident Evil is that Resident Evil 2 experience. The zombies.
Oh yeah, it's
just
not
the
that.
evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
It's definitely
I
not
feel
that.
like I'm
Not at
playing
all.
House of a Thousand Corpses. If you
Yeah,
really
it's-
want me, like
Hmm.
you know, and I'm just like, it's not bad to me. I know as you play the game, I've heard it's going to get more Resident Evil like, but it's definitely different. I'm glad that I picked it up. I mean, I'm not hating it. Let's just say that much, but it's definitely different from playing. Like I just got done grinding out Mafia 3, which was just like playing Grand Theft Auto. Just all of a sudden switched to Resident Evil 7, which is a much more laid back game. I mean, like, dude, that game is. I feel like I'm kind of casually playing a game because you're not just rushing through it. You're like digging through drawers, looking for stuff, and you're just kind of slowly playing a game rather than trying to hammer it out as quickly as you can.
Awesome. So we're glad to hear that you're playing that, man. Good luck with it.
Sorry, rambled on
No,
about
you're
that.
good.
Yeah,
You're good. No,
backlog live.
glad to hear you're enjoying it, knocking out that backlog. I think a lot of us have done that during this whole situation that the world is going through. A lot of us have tackled the backlog a little bit, man. So shout out to you being here this week, man. Glad to have you back with the awesome energy. Last but not freaking least, Mr. Barry Ross. Shout out to Fuzzy Belvedere, man. What's been going on with you? How you been doing, brother?
Not too bad. Been like the rest of you guys tackling the backlog. Finished up Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Nice.
Not 100%, but it's like I think I got one tomb, the one that's after you complete the game type of thing, and a few collectibles here and there that I haven't picked up. But yeah, that was I don't know. I don't know if I like it better than Rise of the Tomb Raider, but I definitely like the scenery a good bit.
Awesome.
But other than that, I'm playing Streets of Rage and quite a few other games as well. Man, just having fun while, whenever I have downtime and stuff like that with a lot of the games that are, on my hard drive right now. But other than that, some stuff we'll get into later on in the topics. Just looking at Twitter, just shaking my head, but we'll like I said, we'll get into that.
We'll dive into that for
Glad
sure.
to be here. Let's get into these topics.
Let's get it, man. And once again, we appreciate everybody watching live right now. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Appreciate the love and support. Once again, check that link out, bg4ghub.com, /shop podcast. Go check it out. It's in the description below. Appreciate the love and support. That is all due to you guys, and you guys continue support. So we're going to continue to do what we do. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. So let's go ahead and start. Poll of the week. You know what it is. If you're new here, poll of the week every single Monday on Twitter. Follow below. Let's get into it. So the poll of the week this week was, and this is prior to us actually having the event and seeing everything that they showed in all the games. So which game would you be most hyped to see on Inside Xbox on May 7th? Prior to, once again, let me know why you want to see a certain game as well. So the options were Elden Ring, Cyberpunk 2077, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or a new IP. So funny thing, Cyberpunk won 42%. 24% was a new IP. 19% Assassin's Creed Valhalla, last Elden Ring. So funny in hindsight, now we're talking about this. But I want to start with you, Luke. Out of those four options, prior to the event, which of the four would you choose and why?
The Elden Ring, because it's hard because we know. Because Elden Ring, I didn't know much about it. I would have chosen that one. Valhalla, I'm already stoked for. Cyberpunk, I know I'm in, and I don't want really to know more. In fact, the more I learn about Cyberpunk, the more intimidated I am. So I would have chosen Elden Ring at the time. And then I think actually I voted for new IP just out of sheer excitement, because who doesn't want to see new games show up?
I know. All right, cool. I don't know. I don't want to cut you off there. Go ahead and continue if you were still going, but if not, that's an awesome choice. Elden Ring, another game we don't know much about. Once again, right in that same vein, that's From Software, correct? If I'm correct, From Software, the makers of Bloodborne as well as Dark Souls. So definitely a game very intriguing. I don't know 100%, Luke. Does Xbox have the marketing rights to that? Do you know?
I do not know either.
I don't know.
I am not sure either.
I think It
I
showed
think they
initially
do.
on their at Xbox E3, didn't it? It had
Debuted there, I believe, and right now, everything feels like Xbox has the marketing because we haven't seen anything from PlayStation.
That's true.
So it feels like that, but
Yeah.
I also think we'll see a couple things flip and turn around. This Inside Xbox, I actually expected to see more AAA games that
Got it.
we are, like bigger stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where my head is with the marketing. I'm curious to see who actually has the deals. We know EA is working with them from Star Wars stuff. We know that they've got Valhalla. So there's questions as to how many people are they going to
Cyberpunk
partner
for
with.
sure. I think Cyberpunk for
Mm-hmm.
sure because they got the
Yep,
custom
it is.
console and everything. But outside
Well,
of
they
that, you're
put up
right.
a graphic of all the companies that are partnering with them, and it's a ton of
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
companies.
It is, and that's straight out of PlayStation 4's launch playbook, which is also smart. I'm just curious how much of those are exclusive marketing deals versus shared marketing deals, and that's again. I think we won't know that until late June and mid July.
You
Okay.
gotta have a console to have a deal. But,
Yeah. We gonna get over to you, Stag. You next, by the way. So we gonna
I
get into
figured.
that. We gonna get into that. But Stag, man, out of those options, obviously it's a little awkward answering that question now because we do know exactly what they've shown. But prior to which of those options, well, I know what you were shown.
There's only one answer that is acceptable, and it is new IPs because we knew about all the other shit. You know what I mean? Like, well, except for Elden, but we do know some of it. But I'm always gonna say new IPs, and I always want to see what new games we're gonna get. And we definitely got a bunch of that,
Yeah,
and I
we
was
did.
very excited to see that and see what gameplay we did see. I mean, there wasn't a lot, but not as little as everybody was freaking out about on the old fucking Panic Zone. But
He means Twitter people, by the way.
yeah, Panic Zone. It's the new name. I renamed it. I'm in a secret deal with them. Oh shit, it's not secret anymore. But no, seriously, like new IPs are great, man. Like it's just what's coming down the road that I didn't know any about any of that stuff. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, except for
think you did.
Valhalla, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, in that freaking first game they showed, wow, dude, looks amazing. The Bright Memory, is that what it's called?
One person making that game.
Yeah, dude, that looked so good. And
We're
then
gonna
like
get into that, Stag. We're gonna.
Dirt 5's definitely not a new IP, but I mean, yeah, new IPs, man. Like always give me new shit to play and add to my backlog that I'm never ever gonna get through. So
Awesome. I knew you. I mean, obviously, for me, not the viewers, but for me, I knew that you were going with that option from day one. But
yeah, I think everybody knows by now that that's the way. I mean, if you put new IP up, I'm gonna vote new IP unless it's like next to Halo or Gears of War. But I'd probably still go new IP because
for sure. So that was a great answer. Let's go ahead and move this over to you, Centurion. Just get your opinion. Out of those options on that poll, which one would you choose, and why would you choose it, brother? Sorry.
Oh my god, man. I picked Cyberpunk 2077, but the more I see of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I'm wanting Assassin's Creed Valhalla more than I'm wanting Cyberpunk 2077. But what you guys were talking about is the fact that the lack of showing these games, like where was Cyberpunk at the supposed third party debut of Summer Game Fest, at least coming from inside Xbox. And the only thing that comes to mind on I was all right with what they showed. There was a couple great games in there that really piqued my interest. You guys already mentioned one, Bright Memory. I feel like, oh my God, I hope a lot of these games don't get released around October. Otherwise, Halloween is going to be a stacked month for horror genre games. But the one said it was coming out holiday 2020, right? But definitely, there's just some pretty good mature titles coming out. What were you saying, Blam?
No, you're good. I was just gonna answer what you just said, but you're good. No big deal.
No, I was just gonna. At least it's mature titles. Everybody's asking for mature titles. Well, it doesn't get any more mature than some of the crazy stuff we all saw.
Yeah.
But now let's really think about this objectively. We have 4 months of supposed gaming events, gaming related news, and just the celebration of gaming, according to Jeff Keighley. Why would Microsoft or any other company coming out of the gate want to completely, just basically, come out with your big guns? I really see them coming out. I really see it as what it should have been, a very small show that was embracing and helping show off some developers that probably didn't have the money to really, afford actual showtime outside of E3. And so Microsoft is helping these other developers show off their games. Obviously, with Ubisoft, they could have afforded that, but I know you have to have at least one big game to kind of draw people into the show. But I really do see Microsoft really releasing more throughout the next coming months. And I'm hoping some of these bigger titles are going to be shown off in a lot more detail.
Awesome.
I think he nails it when he says that. He nails it when he says that Microsoft was giving other people spotlight. And we are very much in an industry where it's, what have you done for me lately? We will all forget the like, oh, we were disappointed. We'll forget that the moment we see something new and shiny. But these developers won't forget the fact that they were put on a stage and spotlighted. And people, when they see Scorn, when they see The Ascent and Bright Memory Infinite, when they see these games in the store, they're going to remember back to this moment and be like, oh, that was that game that. And that is really important to building relationships, which was Microsoft's big failure at the beginning of the Xbox One generation. They didn't have the relationships with a lot of people. Some of it was coin they didn't throw down. Others was not giving people spotlight. And can you imagine if they'd shown the new Batman game, how The Ascent would have gotten spotlighted, though? How Scorn or Bright Memory, that they wouldn't have gotten near the conversation that they are. And as much as Luke Laura wants to see Batman, because I will be over the moon, it does do a good job of, hey, we have all summer to show you this. Let's put the other stuff on stage. And a lot of what they showed was not publicly made it wasn't obvious, but it's exclusive.
Most of it, I mean, outside of what you're just saying, Luke, I had no idea any of those games existed prior to this show. Just about outside
not
of
only
Assassin's
being
Creed.
exclusive to Xbox, but also being exclusive to Series X and PC that are on that caliber. In other words, some of these games aren't even going to work on the older consoles.
Oh, yeah.
Like the
one
medium?
of the devs come out. Yeah, one of the devs came out and said that game is not going to work on any of the current gen consoles. It's only going to work Series X, probably PS5 as well if it goes to PS5. So that's very, very interesting to see. Great take, Centurion, to get your opinion on that as far as the options for the poll of the week. And now we're going to go ahead and throw this over to you, Fuzz. Where you at on that? Which one did you choose and why, brother?
Well, I went with new IP, much like Stag. I wanted to see new things because I already knew about Valhalla because they had already talked about it like a week prior. And Cyberpunk, I had already pre-ordered that, and then they canceled the pre-order, and I pre-ordered it again. So I'm already stoked for that one. The Elden Ring, that one, I want to see more about it. Like, what was the one game? I didn't pick up the one that won the Game of the Year.
Bloodborne?
No. The one that came out recently, the Sekiro.
Sekiro? Okay. Sekiro, yeah.
So I didn't Sekiro. I didn't get that one, but I'm probably going to wind up picking it up at some point when it's on sale. So if Elden Ring is more like that as opposed to Bloodborne, I'll probably wind up picking it up. But I just want to see more about it before I get too stoked about it. But I wanted to see new games, and I got to see new games that I had no idea were even in the works. Like, we knew Valhalla was in the works. We all know that there's always going to be a Madden, unless somehow the NFL license decides to go elsewhere, which I know some people are hoping that 2K picks it up, but we'll see how that works out. But got to see new games, so some new IPs, some things that are going to be day and date with Game Pass, some things that are exclusive to the Xbox, and then games that are going to be on all the next generation consoles. So whether you're a PS5 fan or Xbox Series X fan, you got to see at least some inkling of what to get excited for this next generation. So they, as far as I was concerned, new IPs, and I wouldn't say they nailed it exactly for what new IPs I was looking towards, because I was kind of expecting, hey, maybe AAA, but Centurion's right. Having it where they put the focus on some of the smaller devs was a very nice hook, as far as these games probably wouldn't have gotten any more than like a 5-second sizzle reel type of exposure otherwise. So the way they presented it was awesome seeing those.
Yeah. Okay, and I agree with that. I agree with that breakdown, and we're gonna get into that in a couple minutes actually here. But I do agree with everybody's take. My choice, honestly, as I was making a poll, was Elden Ring actually, just because that was the one. Not necessarily I was most interested in that one. I think out of the options, I just I don't know something about I love the Lord of the Rings, how all that works, and I'm all into wizards and things like that. So I think it kind of rung a bell with me. So I wanted to see a little bit more gameplay from that. See, any information going forward. Now, the funny thing about that game is that I can actually see that game being shown off by Sony more so than Xbox because of the relationship with From Software. Although both have a great relationship, Sekiro was actually showed on Xbox, not PlayStation, at E3. But Bloodborne was a PS4 exclusive, so it's kind of a balance there. But either way, great topic to start off on. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. Appreciate you guys, everybody in the chat right now watching. Hit the like button. Thank you guys so much. You guys are all amazing. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. So we're talking a little bit of inside Xbox. Now we've kind of dipped and dabbled here with the poll of the week, but we're gonna go ahead and just get the meat and potatoes of what everybody thought of the show, just general opinions, how everything matched up. We're gonna start with you, Luke. Just where you're at on that. Where you at. Just with just everything. After processing what you saw. Having a day or so to think about it. Where you at with the show now?
On the grading scale, I came down on a strong C, and I
Okay.
stand by that. That was my initial first impression, and after some time to marinate, I still feel the same way.
Okay.
I really liked and was excited for a lot of the games I saw. The problem was what I saw didn't match what I was expecting, not because I was hyped up on expectations, but because of the speech patterns that they were enabling when they kept saying things like, "We're going to see gameplay, going to see gameplay." I was expecting to see several minutes of Valhalla in action. Now we did see gameplay for several games. I'm stoked for the Ascent. I am stoked for what's the Chorus? Chorus looks really cool, and Bright Memory Infinite. All are very exciting to see, but I am still lukewarm on the overall show. I do think it was far better than the Inside Xbox that took place a month and a half ago. I think they really worked out a lot of the issues logistically, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they have in July for us. And shout out to the fridge. The fridge was awesome.
That Greenie, he took that joke and ran with it, man. I swear to God, it was so awesome
Oh,
to
yeah.
see that. Yeah, but I agree with you to some points. Obviously, the whole gameplay thing has been the big takeaway. That's kind of been the big topic coming out of the Inside Xbox event. What's gameplay, what's not gameplay? Is a control in the hand gameplay? We didn't really see much, I guess, quote unquote, actual gameplay. So I think the one thing, Luke, that I did enjoy, and we've already highlighted this a couple times, you specifically as well as Centurion, the variety of games that they've shown. I did really enjoy that. The fact that we had indies, double A, triple A, whatever you want to call them. I don't know if there was a triple A outside of Assassin's Creed, obviously, but we've seen a lot of high quality titles that are going to hit a lot of different markets. I bet you Stag, and we're going to get to Stag here next, is going to play. He was drooling, I'm sure, when he saw all those games. Well, just about all those games being played. There may be something he wasn't very interested in, but the variety that they have, and that's one thing that Xbox has always been. People have always said Xbox is Halo, Gears, Forza. They've done a phenomenal job at switching things up, getting different types of games from JRPGs to platformers to small games, big games, and they've done a fantastic job. So that was one of the things I wanted to highlight out of everything that I saw. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Stag. What's your opinion? Were you done, Luke? By the way, I don't want to cut you off, Luke. If you had anything else to say.
And I just want to say a lot of these games I was really stoked for. There were probably 5 or 6 games that I was stoked for out of the 13.
Mhm.
And if any of us can get out of a conference or a direct or what have you like that, and we should leave with 2 to 3 games that are for us. And the fact that I got out with 6 that I was really interested in, that's really exciting. And that's why I'm not upset by anything I saw, even though I gave it a C. I really liked it. It just didn't match what I was expecting. But I really liked a lot of the stuff there.
Yeah, and then I truthfully, once again, just to kind of piggyback, I feel the same way. Like it was the variety I went through afterwards and like looked at the individual trailers for the game just to see what it was, would I like it. Very, very interesting games. Very interesting games all over the
And
place.
you know what?
Too.
One thing, I'm so sorry to occupy so much time, but I will say, if anybody was down on the idea of like, oh, I feel like my Xbox One could do that, because that's how I felt. I was like, all right, these are real cool, but can I play these on Xbox One? several of them are worth going onto YouTube with a good monitor and upscaling it to the top level. And then you see what was so next gen about some of the visuals, or what are so why you're going to need a really good PC to play a lot of it. Once I did that, I felt a little bit better because I was looking at some of them and I'm like, this is so cool, but can I just play this on my Xbox now? And seeing the higher fidelity stuff, it made me feel a bit better.
Awesome. Okay, that's a good point. I mean, you know what the funny thing is, when I saw that Bright Memory Infinite, it reminded me of Crysis like 10, 15 years ago. Like when you used to see the Crysis demo, and that was like the top-notch looking game. That was like the bar, the barometer. It kind of reminded me with the weather effects, just the way the game looked. But you're right. A lot of those games are probably going to be a little bit, more graphically demanding, a little more polished than we even thought, just from the small trailers that we've seen. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Stag. What's your opinion on the show? What'd you like about it? Any takeaways from what you saw?
Real quick, do you have YouTube muted on your desktop?
I don't think so. Are we getting an echo in the chat?
You're getting the robotic echo weird thing going on in chat today. So I'm thinking maybe you have something on your desktop open, because sometimes it does that similar thing when I'm streaming if I have a window open and I don't have it muted.
I don't have anything open. No, I don't have.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah, I don't have anything. Yeah.
'Cause, I was listening to the audio too, and yep. And I sound weird right now too. I just checked the audio again.
Lord. Sorry about that, guys, listening right now.
It's just BTK making him sound better than the rest of us as usual.
Here we go.
No, I mean, I never go into those shows overly hyped. I always take whatever they say as a grain of salt, because it's their jobs as company, as PRs, to get you excited about what is going to be shown. And a lot of people out there get overhyped and have unrealistic expectations of what they're going to see. And I rewatched it multiple times. Let me back up a little bit. I woke up after the show was over. Got on Twitter first and was like, "Oh look, yep, everybody's doing what I thought they'd do." And then I watched the show. I was a little shocked. It was only 27 minutes long. But I watched it then, and I watched it again later that day, and then I watched it again in the evening with a friend. And I didn't understand why so many people were upset about not seeing gameplay. I almost feel like people don't know when they're seeing gameplay nowadays. Like I saw a lot of gameplay. Now, it wasn't somebody necessarily sitting there with a controller running through the game, but it was definitely gameplay footage. I saw quite a bit of it. I was excited to see, just with the previous question, I love new IPs, and we got a lot of that. I'm really interested in seeing what we have coming from Xbox every month, since they're going to do something like this every month. And I'm honestly I love it when any of the companies give us information on games. So it's great. It lived up to, I don't feel like I had any expectations other than, yay, we're going to get some new stuff. And they fulfilled that. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. Well, good breakdown. I mean, once again, sometimes you got to marinate. Some things got to marinate. You got to sit with them for a little while, rewatch them. I haven't gone back after initially watching those and rewatched all of them. A couple here and there. I did go back and rewatch.
Yeah, I just don't understand how anybody could watch that and not be like, those games look good.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, like the vampire one, the Bloodlines 2, like some of the facial shit did look fucking current gen, but that's not a first party game, so I'm not really worried about it. You know what? It's going to look just like that on the PS5 as it is on the Series X. It's not Xbox's fault, and people were trashing the shit out of that game and comparing it to like TLO2, and it's like, dude, you're fucking comparing a first party game to a third party game.
No. A first party game with a movie budget.
Yeah, like come on now. Anyways, sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. Has to be said. It has to be said, man. We gotta iron all of these things out. So
it's so old.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. And I don't like to be divisive. No,
I just don't understand why these guys can't appreciate games.
Well, I thought that's what we're all doing. We all.
No, we are. I don't understand like the fucking wang fucking got a shit on stuff just because it doesn't look Amazing. You know what? Hair doesn't look good in any of the games, so there's that.
Too much. Let's go ahead and throw this over to Centurion, man. Let's get your opinion on the show overall, what you thought, expectations. What did you come out of the show with?
Oh, shucks. Expectations. I wanted to keep my expectations low, but you know me, I listen to people, so maybe I thought they would be a little bit more, maybe a little bit, maybe one more jaw dropper. There was nothing wrong with what was shown. Maybe they just needed that one jaw dropper because would it have been different if Assassin's Creed Valhalla was revealed at this Inside Xbox rather than the week before?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that, maybe one more game that was an actual big reveal or at least tease people, maybe a teaser. Put the Fable logo up there. You'd get everybody kind of talking about that at that point. And we all know the success of showing logos. So we all just need to show a Fable logo.
And controllers.
Holy moly. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Anyways.
If we'd seen those logos, though, would we be talking about the Ascent and Chorus and
Exactly.
Good point.
Scorn?
Exactly. No,
point.
that's
Yeah,
why.
you're
That's
right,
that's why I'm
You're
saying.
right.
Honestly, it's just I really can't see Microsoft kind of wanting to overshadow those games with even bigger games, and then also that whole thing. Look at what's going on right now. There is a ton of companies out there right now that are financially just fine because they have other means of making money. Some of these other game developers don't. And Microsoft is reaching out to them, in my opinion. I don't want to see WB Games soaking up time on Xbox stage because we all know WB Games can actually afford to kind of have their own stage time. So that
I disagree with that, but I don't disagree with it in principle. I just think that I want to see WB working with Microsoft because they didn't work with them last gen. And I don't want them on Sony stage.
Well, I could see that. You want to see him on an Xbox stage. That's a very valid, fair point.
That's a fair point.
But what I'm getting at when you're trying, how I don't want to see AAAs being put up against developers that are trying to get some shine on their product that are not kind of up there with a AAA budget.
Gotcha. I'm with you on that premise. Yeah, I'm with you there.
If we want to have WB Games on stage, then we need to have the other big guys on stage that can compete on that level. Because you are right. Other games like that would overshadow some of the games that were shown at Inside Xbox. Definitely. Now let's go into something that's I'm glad Stagger's here. Everybody, Stagger loves gardening. If you have any grass planting tips, you might want to get a hold of them, because if you thought Stagger made you whine, let's dig into a big controversy that's breaking out. Yakuza Like a Dragon. Looks like a very, very great game. Mm-hmm. Now, when you go to said website, first thing it says is that it will be available on the Xbox Series X with smart delivery. Basically meaning that you will not have to buy another version of that game to get the Series X enhancements. In other words, to get the next gen enhancements that you're paying for with your new console. But when you click on the PlayStation logo, regretfully, the only version of the game that they can guarantee at this point is a PS4 version of the game, which almost means that there is no enhancements on the PS5 side to possibly bring that game into next gen, even if, because we all know that they came out and said Sony was going to be backwards compatible with PS4 games, but it's still going to be a PS4 game versus on the Xbox side, if you're playing it on an Xbox One X, it's going to be an Xbox One X, or if you're playing it on a Series X, there's going to be things in that game that are actually exclusive to that platform. And one big way to kind of point that out is look at Assassin's Creed Valhalla. There's actually going to be dismemberment now in the Series X version of the game because the console can actually create that. But from what I know and what I think, that dismemberment feature is not going to exist on the Xbox One platforms because they're not going to be able to do that. And to back up this theory, we can take into Shadow of Mordor. When that game came out, it was on Xbox 360 and Xbox One. Xbox 360, though, was a very dumbed down version of the game. The Xbox One version actually contained the heart and soul of that game, which was the Nemesis program. And the Nemesis program was only capable on Xbox One and PS4 platforms because of the hardware. So this isn't something that's new. They can create different versions of the games. Sorry,
So I want to jump in real quick and just add a little thing to the whole Yakuza. So that game's releasing on Series X and Xbox One X, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say it right now. I guarantee you, every other Yakuza game will be in Game Pass before that happens.
Oh yes, guaranteed. And I'm actually kind of looking.
That's like the thing, the unspoken thing they didn't say. They're gonna give Xbox players a chance to play all those games because they already gave you 0 and 1.
Yeah.
And if they're gonna give you what that's considered 7, I think.
Yeah.
They're gonna give you the other 4 to play.
A couple of them showed Game Pass.
No, I just say, man, I'm saying all the other ones will come to Game Pass for us to play, like the 0 and 1 have.
Oh. Wasn't expecting anything, whether it be first party, especially since that's going to be the July show, or even third party. And to my understanding, we got some third party IPs now. Yes, are they AA or maybe single A studios or smaller studios? Sure, but these are games that I had no idea were in development, other than like your Dirt 5, because I know that they had some rumblings about that they were going to do like a different environment and stuff like that for it. Man was a given, and we already knew about Valhalla, but we got to see, what was that, like 10 other games that most of us, unless you're on PC for the Bright Memory one, we had no way of knowing about these games prior, type of thing. So it was awesome to see that those new games got their 15 minutes of fame, or not necessarily 15 minutes, but it was nice to see some new games that weren't on the radar that are now on the radar. Overall, the gameplay aspect of it, yeah, they hyped that word up a bit much. Although the only game I was really looking forward to seeing, quote unquote, gameplay, and it doesn't have to be somebody holding a controller. Like usually when Ubisoft talks about gameplay stuff, you'll see some of the menus. You'll see a mission, even if it's not the full, from start to finish part of it, but you'll see probably like the first 2 or 3 minutes or the first 5 minutes of a mission. I was hoping that they would show like, okay, you leave your home base and you're going out to do a raid, you're gearing up, you start the mission, and then you get ambushed by a group that were on the way to where you were originally going to, like the fortress and stuff. You kill a few of the enemies, you take their helmet. Oh, it's a lower level than what you had. And then you go into the menu, you can see, you break it down, you can use the spare parts. Oh, this axe is better than the one you had. You break down your original, you equip that one. So I was expecting some of that. It didn't have to be, full on a 15-minute deep dive into the game, but at least show some of the menus, some of the gearing and stuff like that. I understand they're going to have some surprises because they're supposed to be, like some of their gods will be on the battlefield, and that'll be like your refreshing energy or help rejuvenate your push forward type of thing. But I was just hoping for a little bit more on that because I'm already sold on the game. I just want to see some of the other details in the meantime. But overall, I would say I give it a B overall, just because I like I said, my expectations were kept in check just for the fact that I knew this wasn't going to be their big one. The first party stuff is going to be in July, so I figure that's the big one. They're awfully quiet exactly on the details of June, but I'm thinking that's where the big AAA, third party games are going to appear, and we'll get hopefully maybe some pricing and pre-order stuff for the console itself. Maybe an unveil of the Xbox Series S, but in any event, for a starting event of 4 of these events that they're going to have before the launch of the console, I was pretty enthused what I saw. I can't really complain other than, I didn't get to see some of the menus in Valhalla, but outside of that, there's at least 3 games that I'm looking forward to purchasing, and that's better than what I had the day before. So
Awesome.
I was happy.
Awesome. So I'm with you guys on that. And once again, chat, great synopsis and breakdown for us. Sorry about the audio. I'm not entirely sure what's happening with that. I have to definitely look into that once the show is over. Not sure what's going on. Sometimes Google just goes crazy. We haven't had this issue probably in a few weeks, so I do apologize for that. I'll definitely look into that once the show is over. We're just gonna keep pushing through here until the show is over, so I do apologize. So next topic, moving on here. Appreciate you guys still rocking out with us, even with the audio being the way it is. So next topic here is, and this is something that I haven't really seen anybody talk about, and I'm super interested because it is such a big deal right now. So many people use it. So many people, take advantage of this. So game sharing for Xbox, PlayStation, going into next gen. And I have not seen a single, neither company talk about how are they gonna. Is there a solution for this issue? Are they gonna bring back like a family game kind of situation where you can buy for $100 3 accounts and you're able to share games between the family? How is that going to be implemented? Because right now, on Xbox there is a way to do it. It's not necessarily meant to be done that way, but a lot of us take advantage of that. So, Luke, I wanted to get your opinion on game sharing going into the next gen with these new consoles. None of us have heard anything about from either company about how they're going to address it. So, what is your idea on what they're going to do for game share?
The truth is, I don't have much to offer on this topic. Because I'm not overly familiar with it even on this gen. I don't do that. I have no need to because I mean my wife and I play games, but I'm the only one that uses the Xbox. So I don't have much to offer there, and I don't want to occupy time if anybody else has something better and more insightful.
Not
Sorry,
a problem. No, you're good. You're good. No big issue here, Stag. I guess we're gonna roll this over to you then. Thinking about it, how many people use it? I know a ton of people use it on my friend list. A lot of people take advantage of it. So, what would be something like, since nobody's talked about it, either company, do you think that's going to be something that each company has to look at some point?
I, I would really like it if they brought back the family plan as a family of 4 with 2 children who love to play Xbox. The fact that so I do game share with the account I set up for my wife, and she fucking never plays the Xbox. So my kids use the Xbox up. I set it up in the office next to me here on a TV, and the boys basically use that, and then they also have their own account downstairs on the main TV. But I own a ton of fucking games, right? I mean, it would be nice if I could, share these games with my children. I think once man, I really feel like it's like back when you had a Nintendo, everybody could fucking play it. You know what I mean? Or even a Dreamcast or whatever, a GameCube, and you fuck a 360, whatever. But like this whole like not being able to play it or get the achievements or whatever, it's kind of fucking stupid. I get it. They want to make money, but like if it's in my house, they should be able to play it. I shouldn't have to. I mean, I think they can as long as I'm logged in, and then like because I did a thing recently where like my buddy let me sign into his Japanese account and played some games while he was signed in and I was signed in, so I didn't have to buy the games myself. So there is like weird finagling workarounds, but man, I just really wish they would like do the family thing again. Both consoles, to be honest with you. I don't know much about the PlayStation of game sharing because I don't do that, and I don't like. I have friends that game share with people they've never met in real life, and I'm like, no. Like I have a really good buddy that I boost with, and like we haven't been boosting for a while just because we haven't needed to. But like people are like, we were in this contest, this gamer score contest. They're like, oh, you guys don't game share? They're like, fuck no. They're like, but you guys are buddies. We're like, so I can't reach out and touch him. Like, I am not letting him access my credit card information. Screw him. So I don't understand how people do that stuff with people they don't even know. Like I have friends that do that. I'm like, I mean, y'all just know each other on the internet.
It's crazy. It's definitely crazy, but I think it's something that eventually is going to come.
I mean, you can remove that stuff, but while they access it, because I have had one person sign into my account recently so they could download a game for me that you could only get in the UK, and I was like sweating bullets the whole time. Like I thought, like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose my fucking gamer score and everything. And he was cool about it, which was great. But yeah, like, dude, I wish it was more inclusive for families. Because I mean, like, my family's in a good position, so it's not that big of a deal. But like, especially in the times we're in now, with unemployment where it's at and how expensive things are for people and making choices like that, being able to share the games within your family circle would be ideal. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I agree with that as well. I mean, me and Fuzz were throwing around some options as how they could do it. I don't know how. It's some logistics there that they'd have to work through, like for it to make sense. I think the easiest thing, like you said, was just bring back the family pass. Because I don't remember, was it 3 gamer tags or 4 that you would get?
I think it was 4.
Yeah, I think it was
It was
4.
4,
Yeah.
right? I believe it was
Yeah.
4 on the 360. That you used to get when you bought it was like $99, I think, for 4. So I think something like that would work. Maybe make it a little bit more expensive. That way, the developers pubs get something on the back end. For you being able to only buy one game and 4 people have access to it, maybe make it a little bit more expensive. But I think something like that is definitely going to have to be talked about. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Centurion. What's your opinion? Game share going forward, next generation?
I think you guys kind of hit the nail on the head. Now, did I hear you say correct? Like, you more expensive. So, would you guys be against a family plan that let you share with more devices? Because
That's what
I'm actually exploring the option of cutting the cable when it comes to, like, I have satellite and I've got like really good internet, so I've always thought about cutting the cable. And when I look into it, it's always based on how many devices you want to use on those streaming services at once.
Mm-hmm.
The more devices you use, the more expensive that service costs. So when it came to Xbox Live, would you be against it being a little bit more expensive, like $1 or $2, just to kind of give it to where you had the ability to put in 3,
Well,
maybe 4 gamer tags
You
to.
mean earning more Microsoft rewards points? Okay.
well, either that. I don't think people would be opposed to that as long as if it's just another option. We already this was last generation. We had that option with the 360, so it's not something that we haven't seen before. Now, obviously, like I said, there's some logistics behind that, but I wouldn't mind at all if that was another option. Hey, pay $100, $120, you get 4 gamer tags for a year. You get access to one library of games, all 4 of you guys. I don't know how that would all work, but it's not like
Yeah, on
some.
different devices would be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different devices.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's a. I just think nobody's talked about it. Like nobody's brought it up. Neither company has really even addressed it at
I,
all.
I just
So
honestly, the reason why that they're probably not even bringing it up is I think they're going to leave it alone
Mhm.
because they can't. If they made it any more restrictive, the whole world would explode. And if they and obviously they probably don't want to loosen up at all either without creating a system of some way of controlling it, because like it or not, it takes one person to ruin it for everybody. And we all saw how certain retailers or secondhand retailers have taken and the used game market and totally just run amok with it and created a situation where Sony and Microsoft wanted to create systems that made it harder to kind of secondhand these games.
yeah, yeah. No, with
And
go ahead.
you could try and tie it to an IP address or credit card, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
all these things can be spoofed, but
Yeah.
or fucking birth certificates. I mean, you get a little crazy there, but I'm just saying, like, there's got to be a way to to verify that you're not sharing all your games with 3 more friends. You know what I mean? So
I don't know. Once again, it's not a question that anybody's really asked. I haven't seen a conference, a YouTube video about it, or anything. So I think
tells me
it's
nothing's
Now,
going to be
now,
done.
now, if you really want me to kind of like throw a big kind of like monkey wrench in this whole situation,
uh-huh.
I want to think about how do you pass these accounts on as a legacy. I hate using you as an example, Stagger, but later on in the future, Stagger is going to have an asininely large Microsoft digital library.
Already do.
When Stagger passes on from this world, what happens to that library?
Dude, you talking way down
I
the
think
line.
Stagger as a consumer should have the right to pass that digital library on to whoever he deems.
Oh, being able to
I
like
don't think that
transfer
library should just
your
go into
library.
non-existence.
Okay, my name is it's spelled L-U-K-E-L.
Oh, it's actually in stipulation because actually right now, from what I hear, there's actually stipulations that say you're not allowed to give these accounts to anybody, like sell them or do anything.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
one gray area that's never been explored because this whole idea of digital purchasing is actually something that's kind of to this generation.
Yeah, it's new.
So going forward into the future, you're going to have people that are going to have digital libraries that are going to have thousands, if not millions of dollars of content wrapped up inside them. And now we're going to have to start exploring the idea of how do you kind of pass these on?
I've got millions of dollars of content. I need to reassess my life.
Okay, dude, there's a person out there that spent $1 billion, like how much money on FIFA?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's someone out there that has a stupidity of buying games, just like every single one, and just their
I can
account is
stop
probably
anytime I want.
Too much.
I'm sitting on a gold mine.
Too much. Too much. But either way, let's go ahead and throw this over to Fuzz before we move on to the last topic. Let's get your opinion. Now, me and you, Fuzz, we talked about this pregame. We talked about this in the party chat on Xbox before the show even started. We threw around a couple different ideas, so let's hear them, brother.
Well, I would really like to see them do a family plan again. Some of the things I've seen that have worked in the PC world, as far as when it comes to software, is just charging a little bit extra. So, for example, if you want Office 365 for, let's say, for 5 PCs, you pay $170, let's say. If you want it for 10 PCs, you pay $240 or something. It's not like a full double price type of thing or a full like 1.5 times, but it's somewhere a nice blend between like 1 and 1.5 times what you would pay. Or like let's say it's a $60 game and you want it for more than 2 devices, you pay $65 and you can have it now access to these 3 devices. So if you have 3 Xboxes in your house or 4 Xboxes in your house, which we do, it would be a easy way for me to be on the same game at the same time. My wife is in the game and my twin boys are in the game. So if we can all be in the same game at the same time, and it's not one of those like couch co-op things, we don't have to all be sitting on the living room couch with the split screen. That would be perfect in my opinion. But have it where if it's tied to my IP address or something along those lines, I'm fine with it. I mean, they could still keep the current game share. If you want to share between, like, let's say you and a sibling and you're all the way across country, sure, keep that going. Let that stay. But if somebody has a family where they have, more than 2 gamers in the house and more than 2 consoles in the house, offer another option, or at least consider another option, even because I know the developers and the publishers are going to want an extra piece of the pie because now that's more of their licensed software in somebody's hands that they're not collecting the full price for. If it means we just pay a little bit more for the game, I'm fine with it. I before I even knew Gameshare, I was breaking the bank because, like I said, I have twin boys. They each have an Xbox. I have an Xbox. It's like, and before I even went digital, it's like, okay, I gotta buy 3 discs of The Division. I gotta buy 3 discs of, Rainbow Six Siege. I gotta buy 3 of this, and I was like, wait a minute,
Dude, that's ridiculous.
let's just do the digital, and then it's like, okay, well, as long as they're using my, like right now we're down to just using 2 at the same time, or one of them will be on their PC type of thing or their laptop, then that kind of works still because they're still kind of on my log device because I'm the admin on their laptop, and then they're using my home Xbox, and my Xbox One X is I'm logged into it. They don't have like their own game collection other than the physical discs that we bought in the past, but that way we can have kind of like 3 of us in, like Sea of Thieves. One's on his laptop, one's on the other Xbox, and I'm on my X1X. But something to make it easier because right now we're looking at doing gaming PCs for them and how we're going to get everything situated. So if I can keep things in a reasonable budget where I'm not having to buy things 2 and 3 times, I would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, just something where family plan, look at the IP address of the parent account or something, or or you just name 4 gamer tags. Okay, these 4 gamer tags have access to the 600 games we have,
Mm,
and that's that type of thing. And as you add more games, they still have access to it, and you know, go from there. But
yeah.
I like Centurion's idea as far as legacy. I know we've had a community member pass a few years ago, Xbox Addict and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and um, I'm pretty sure his wife, still has access to the account. I would hate for them to have it where if someone passes and they lock the account or anything along those lines, they should still make it where either the next of kin or whoever can go in and make an adjustments. Now, obviously, payment info would have to be locked or canceled at that point, but everything as far as the media that's been collected, whether it's the movies or games or apps or what have you, the family should still at least have access, or whoever they deem, the heir to those items. But yeah, one of those things where laws haven't caught up to the digital age. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that was a great topic, man. We're definitely going over time this time on the show, so we're definitely going outside of the 60 minutes that we usually allocate. But it's all
I'm
good,
here
man.
just totally
We're
rambling.
gonna we're gonna wrap this up. But we got a last topic here. Once again, I appreciate everybody rocking out with us through all of the sound issues. Hopefully next week that will not be a problem. I will definitely look into that. So we'll figure that out. But let's go ahead and wrap this up with the last topic of the show, and that is going to be: are we getting prices before we see first party games? And this is another thing me and Fuzz were talking about pregame. Something that's very, very interesting to me because it almost feels like these companies are playing tag. Okay, who's gonna fold first? Who's gonna say what the price is first? We got the summer of games. Is anything gonna be announced in June? As far as the price, Sony has not done an event. Are they doing anything? Well, Xbox, we know there's an event in July. Are they gonna announce the price there? There's a lot of options, especially without there being an E3. The E3's pretty much kept us all in line. We knew when we were getting information from these companies. Without that event, we have no idea at this point. So, Luke, I want to go ahead and throw it over to you. Where are you at with the prices before we see first parties after? Where you at on that?
Right now, I am emotionally, mentally, financially preparing for $500 per box, and
Okay.
whether that goes up or down per will have me adjusting my thought process there. The the announcement for price, I think, will likely happen in July along with their main first party slate. Because if you're going to launch a new system, you need something to showcase it. And it looks like Halo Infinite and Valhalla will be the two games they push as showcasing the best of the best in terms of power. What they learned in this past Inside Xbox is that if they're going to have games that are as gorgeous as the Xbox Series X is capable of producing, they're going to have to find a way to get around YouTube compression and Mixer compression and Twitch compression in order to showcase them so people are in it. And I imagine that's what they're working through right now. June gives them a good, healthy window for their third-party partners and maybe this one their second-party affiliates to iron out release dates, figure out what it is they want to do. Right now, everything's in a bit of a kerfuffle with COVID, so they're trying to figure out what can be launched where. And when the system launches, if it's below 500, I'll be ecstatic. I'm sure a number of analysts, in fact, I've seen a number of analysts right now are throwing out
I
numbers
saw
in order
that.
to. And real talk, none of them know,
Yeah.
and there's no reason to do anything other than take it for what it is. It's
Yeah.
speculation by an analyst who's right and wrong on regular bases, and we'll look forward to it. So I would imagine we'll find out in July. They are playing chicken with each other. We know Microsoft has a multi-trillion-dollar cap in terms of being a company, and Sony doesn't have nearly the window in that, and that's the benefit of being with Microsoft versus Sony as parent companies, not necessarily the more powerful PlayStation brand than the Xbox brand, which is a different conversation. And I think, what are they going to eat their cost on their box? Are they going to actually go through with the Series S or not? I actually am in favor of them not doing it. So I would really like to see uh, June go by with game talk, and then in July we get the price. We find out that it's 500 or below, and they give me reasons why I need a Series X, because this past Inside Xbox didn't give me reasons why I should spend 500.
Got it. And that's fair. Fair. Good point, Luke. Good point. So one thing I do want to piggyback off of what you said, essentially was that a lot of the games and a lot of the things we saw in the way the information essentially has been like given to us is important as well. You know, like you said, we all understand we're in different times at this particular point. So that price versus game thing is very, very, very interesting. Just due to the fact that like does it because at this particular point, Sony has not had an event and or show, and they don't. We don't have a timetable as to when they're going to say anything. They've been pretty reactionary, although we thought that they would definitely make some type of announcement and say, "Hey, we're going to do an event around this Inside Xbox," and that didn't happen. Which is extremely odd, by the way. Let's throw that out there. I don't know if you feel that way, Luke, because I think I don't know where you were at. Were you almost sure that Sony was going to announce some type of event before this Inside Xbox or during it?
I thought they would do something just because they had what was it on the day of the Inside Xbox last time they showed the DualSense.
The DualSense, yeah.
And real talk again, I really liked that. I was like, good, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Start competing and fighting for my money. Let's do this. And they didn't. And that probably has more to do with Summer Game Fest and the calendar structure of making sure they don't step on each other's toes, first and third party announcements, because some of the games they saw were going to be on PlayStation 5's platform, and they probably didn't want to overshadow potential marketing deals or potential sales that were going to be in PS5 stuff. So it's probably a lot of political approaches there, but yeah, that was what I was going for. I wanted them to announce something, that's for sure.
We all thought. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie. I'm not gonna sit up here and cap like we didn't. There was a healthy majority of people that like, look, we're getting a tweet any minute now. Like they're gonna send something out. It's gonna be a corner of the PS5 with just like the power button or something like that. Like they're gonna do something, and we're there's gonna blow up the internet. But we didn't get that, which is very odd. But good take on that particular topic, Stag. Where you at price versus when we're going to see first party? You know, would you do it at the same time or would you do one before the other?
So first and foremost, I don't think they're playing chicken with each other. I think Sony's playing checkers and Microsoft is fucking playing chess. So,
okay, well we get that out the way.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Tell us how you really feel.
I know, right?
I mean, we ain't got nothing from one side, and we're getting an abundance of. Yeah. Anyways. I think they show first party titles and the price the same day, and launch a pre-order window. Yeah, whatever.
Okay, all right. Well, that was a good analysis. It is what it is. It makes sense because I was thinking. I mean, all June.
I did see something today. Someone's like, "Oh, what if Xbox comes in at $400 and eats it big time?" Like,
I mean, there's another thing too, and I wanted to say this to you too, Luke, when you were talking about that. When Phil had that interview with Ryan McCaffrey asked him straight up, how much is the box? Where are we getting it? They're, released all this other stuff. Where are we getting this information? When are we getting it? He mentioned something about summer. I don't know if it was specifically tied to the price.
It has to, because it's coming out fall.
Yeah, it's coming out fall. Holidays, so I mean, if this follows a normal trajectory of when we get information,
they were more than likely going to announce all that shit at E3.
Exactly. And I mean, I would 99%
or at least
sure.
Xbox.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure we would have got that. Had all this not been going on, we would have got it at E3. So, Luke,
they want to stagger announcements to occupy news space, to occupy media space, and they're going to continue to do what they do when they roll out games into Game Pass and when they talk about services. They're going to try and occupy time slots there. Mm-hmm. And they're, as he said in that same interview, they're working to stay price agile. They're probably looking right now at analytics showcasing, all right, how many units can we produce given COVID? How is the American economy holding up? How is the Canadian economy? How is the European economy? They're probably examining all those factors, and it probably has as much to do with all those other factors as it does to do with the PlayStation 5, which I'm telling you, they do not see PlayStation 5 as their primary competitor any longer. They're competing with Amazon's server space and potential gaming platform. They're competing with Google's potential space. They're looking at Twitch. They're looking at Netflix, and they're adjusting themselves into things that use time and for streaming technologies. So it's not just a box that they are working to compete with.
Yeah, again, that's a great breakdown once again. I mean, it's to me the big takeaway from what he said. Now, regardless of being 100% right as far as the statement, it sounds like they're flexible on price. That's what I got. Now I don't know if you got the same vibe, Luke. Sounds like he seemed pretty loose about the. He didn't seem. It wasn't like a stressful question. Is what I'm saying. Like when he talked about it, he didn't seem too tight about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you got the same vibes, Luke, when you saw that.
Um, I don't know that he was concerned about it. I think they are very comfortable in their pillared strategy of we'll have the Series X, we'll have the Xbox One family phase out with smart delivery. They've got xCloud, which continues to do gangbuster numbers and showcase technologies next to Google Stadia that is stumbling in its own issues, not just with their marketing. And they're working to enter into that Asian market by way of India, Korea, and Japan through their game catalog and those services. Game Pass is firing on all cylinders with things like Red Dead dropping in. They've clearly got partnerships with Yakuza and Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. They are working very hard to fill a gap that any gamer might have to say, well, I want a PlayStation. They're well aware of their own exclusive problem, and they've been working to fix that since 2015. So I think they're not concerned about the price of their box. They want to get you in their ecosystem. Otherwise, guys, they wouldn't give us Game Pass. I mean, I have Game Pass through 2022 thanks to giveaways and really cheap buy one get one free deals. They want us in their ecosystem.
Yeah.
And that's where the dollars get made.
Yeah, and funny thing, we've always talked about that on this show too. As long as when they get you in the door, they just want to get you in the door. Anything can happen once you get in the door. So I that's 100% correct, Luke. So let's go and throw this over to you, Centurion. Get your opinion on this price versus when we're gonna see these first party games, man.
Oh man, I have been wondering the whole price thing in my head for a while. I really see them releasing it in July. Definitely, like everybody's saying, that it was probably going to be released in E3. It's probably going to be released in July, or at least that's the longest Microsoft is probably willing to wait or hold on to the price. I'm kind of shocked that man, it leaves me speechless on how quiet Sony has been. Let's just say that. I've got the money to afford both consoles. I'm not trying to brag, but I really feel like Microsoft is doing a better job in convincing me why to buy their product than the other guys. And I really hope they kind of show us something a little bit soon. Otherwise, I'm just going to be completely kind of wondering about that purchase altogether. Should I just wait until there's more released about the console? I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
That's
I'm not motivated to buy a PlayStation at all right now.
Yeah, until we see something tangible. It's not. This is the thing. I don't want to confuse the two. I'm not worried about the PlayStation.
No, me neither. I'm just not motivated to buy it.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I want to play their exclusives. I got no reason to right now.
I would say I know I will eventually end up with a PS5 because hey, the exclusives are a really good reason to buy one.
Yeah,
but
not the multiplayer.
Does it justify going out and buying 2 day one consoles? Probably not, because I feel like everything that I'm gonna need is gonna be right there in Xbox, and it's gonna have everything I need, and it's gonna keep me distracted from. Because come on, you're not able to enjoy 2 consoles at the same time. That's ludicrous. So at that same time, at this point, I'm actually really considering waiting on the PS5 because there's just so little that has been released about it, and I don't feel hyped. Does that sound silly?
No, they haven't shown anything, so
there's nothing to be hyped about right now
at this point, and that's not even. We're not even
talking assholes.
Yeah,
it's just being straight up legit.
Yeah,
you got God Eater, a controller, and a fucking logo, and some boring ass specs.
So, actually, it'd be great. I can see it now. PlayStation, the next thing they're going to show of the PS5 console is the warning label on the back of the console.
We're not doing that.
It's going to be that sex robot, okay?
We're not doing that. We're not doing that, guys.
You already did.
You guys are ridiculous.
It'll be the Anthem reboot. That's what it'll be.
You guys are ridiculous.
He did it.
I'm waiting for it. I'm feeling.
Anthem sneaks in the show every week.
I just remembered we hadn't gotten there yet. So
that's true. We hadn't gotten to that point. So Anthem sneaks in the show every week. So let's go ahead and I don't know if you were done, Centurion. If you were done, go ahead and throw it over to.
How about this too? Microsoft is obviously. How about this console could be $450? I would thank the gods or whoever is responsible for making that console less than $500. I'm comfortable with that console being $500. I'm comfortable with that console being $600. Microsoft has proven to me why I should invest my hard-earned money, because it seems like a quality, thought-out product from a really great hardware developer like Xbox. When it comes to PlayStation, regardless of what people want to say, there has been a lack of events. There has been lack of talk, period. There is so many rumors, of negative rumors, that are surrounding the production of the PS5 hardware and Sony's first party studios. And Sony has not come out and got in front of anything. They have been historically quiet. And so I'm just, at this point, I don't feel like they have done anything to make me feel like they got my hard-earned money in mind. Because at the end of the day, we need to remember the red ring of death, the yellow light of death. When you misdevelop a console, rush something, or do something silly in its production, that is when you run into those problems. And Microsoft has convinced me that I'm not going to have one of those problems. PlayStation has not. And
All
you
right,
guys know what I'm talking about.
that's a fair point. That's a fair point. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Fuzz. It's gonna be
Yeah.
the last one. We're gonna wrap this thing up after this. But Fuzz, just your opinion on price versus when we're gonna see these first party games. Where are you at on that?
I still kind of believe that we're going to see some pricing in June. They're being awfully quiet. Both parties are being awfully quiet about June, and particularly Microsoft. We know that there's going to be an event in June. We know what July's is going to be. We know it's going to be their first party studios. I think we'll get the price before then, or at least like a pre order window or something. It'd be nice if the X Series X is 500 or below. I've just, from a power standpoint, I've always kind of tried to not really psych myself out, but prepare for like a $600 price point. But
Mm-hmm.
right now, I would like to hear more from PlayStation. Now I'm still going to get a PS5 at launch because I didn't get a PS4 Pro, so this will be my replacement for my launch PS4. So I'll have like something better than a PS4 Pro for my Sony exclusives and things like that. But I think we're going to hear some pricing in the month of June. I am I'm going to go out there on a limb and figure that it's going to be a 450 and 550. 450 for PS5 because they're going to have to eat some cost, and then Microsoft not really having to eat much cost or any cost at all will be around 550 because it's pretty much that, as a couple of others have said, that $100 delta difference in graphical power and so forth. So I can expect it to be a little bit more, but it'd be awesome if they're both at 5, or at least the X Series X at 5. I'll be awfully happy if it's at that price point. But yeah, I think we'll get something next month, just so that way there's something more than just the big AAA and second party deals next month unveiled at their Inside Xbox. I think we'll hear something, maybe even on the Xbox Series S.
All
Who
right.
knows?
Cool. Well, good breakdown, man. And once again, I mean, there's a lot of opinions on that. That's something that we'll be talking, obviously a lot in the upcoming podcast in the next few weeks, until we actually get the information. So we're getting information soon. It's all new information. I'm fucking excited either way, either console. I'm excited. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up, guys. We did run a little bit over today. Once again, I do want to apologize about the audio issue. I will definitely look into working that out. I'm not entirely sure what happened with Google today, but I do appreciate everybody that's been rocking with us through all of the audio issues. But I do want to go ahead and say thank you to everybody watching this. You guys are amazing. Just every single week, you guys show up, show out. Let's go ahead and just get to our guests so we can go ahead and wrap things up here. Luke, appreciate you, man, coming on. You guys go check out XEP. I'm sorry, XEP, the Xbox Expansion Podcast. Phenomenal show. I highly recommend it. Please do me a favor. All his information is in the description below. The link to the podcast, Spotify, Apple, everywhere you can find it. But I appreciate you, Luke, man. Let everybody know where they can find you. When's the next show going to be? And, what can they expect from the Xbox Expansion Podcast?
Oh, thank you, man. I love being here, so I appreciate you having me back. You can find me on Twitter at Insipid Ghost. And then, of course, the Xbox Expansion Pass every week comes out on Mondays. I often have guests. In fact, I've had Steve Philby from the Dead Cells developer Motion Twin, Andrea Renee, Mike Bithell, who just released John Wick Hex, and on the show. And most recently, the founder of Gamers Outreach, which is a charity that gets video games and Xboxes into hospital rooms with long-term kids who are there long term. And so it's a wonderful charity. He was on the show recently. This next week is just me. And then the week after, I have Sissy Jones, who is a voice actor who's going to be coming on the show. She's voiced in games like Halo. She was Fury in Darksiders 3. It's exciting. So Xbox Expansion Pass. Yeah, I hope you guys will check it out.
Awesome, man. He has a lot of cool things, man. Like he just said it. Go check it out. I don't think anything needs to be said. Appreciate it, man. Once again, coming on. You always add so much to the show. You're always welcome here, man. Once again, guys, please go check out everything the man's doing. All the information's in the link below. Appreciate you coming on once again, Luke. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Stag. Let everybody know where they can find you. What stream times, things like that. All that good stuff.
You can find me on the internet. Yeah, Staggerilla, Twitter, Twitch, Mixer, Stagger. I'm gonna change my name over again to Staggerilla. I've been slow to do that because last time I changed my name, my account got reset. But that's a whole nother bag of worms. I won't be streaming next week. I got roofers coming. Well, at least I won't be streaming during the day. At least it's going to take them 2 or 3 days, and my office is directly below the roof, so that would suck.
Yeah. I think that actually make for a really great show. I think.
I think I would really hate life.
There, dude.
Just put the mic up on the roof and leave it.
I know, right? Ridiculous.
He just needs to be doing one of his scare stagger episodes, and then out of nowhere, just someone just hits the roof as hard as they can, and you see Stagger actually scream.
That's myself.
Too much. But yeah, you guys go check out Stag. Stag, you appreciate you every week. Super consistent. Go check him out. Twitch, Mixer. A fantastic stream. Great interactions. So I appreciate you, man. So going to throw this over to you, Centurion. Let everybody know what's going on. What can we expect from the YouTube channel? All that good stuff.
Oh man, well, if you guys want to find me, I can always be found on YouTube, Xbox Live, and Twitter at Centurion1307. I also kick it here with you guys every Saturday on the Shop Podcast. I also kick it on the TXR Podcast on Sunday nights with the whole gang over there. And yeah, it's been great. Other than my last video I released, I think I shot myself in the foot. People were avoiding social media, I think, because they didn't want to have Inside Xbox leaked because of the whole incident the week before. So yeah, it is what it is. We move on, and we just create more content.
All right. Well, once again, man, I appreciate you too. It adds so much to the show every single week. Once again, guys, all that information is actually in the description below. It's going to be Twitter because that's where you can pretty much find all of our information and every other social media we're on, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever the case may be. Appreciate you guys. Check us all out. But last but not least, the boy Fuzzy Belvedere, man. What's going on with you? Let everybody know where they can find you, brother.
Well, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, either Fuzzy_Belvedere or Fuzzy Belvedere, all one word. You can find me on PSN, Fuzzy_Belvedere, or Xbox Live, Fuzzy Space Belvedere. Usually playing some sort of racing game or catching up on backlog games. Awesome show, guys.
Awesome. So last but not least, your boy PTK Blam across the board. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys so much. Hit me on Xbox Live. Follow me on Twitter. That's where you guys will be able to keep up with everything like the poll of the week, everything going on with the Shop Podcast, as well as shout out once again, bg4ghub.com/the Shop Podcast. Go check us out. Shout out to Tom. Appreciate you, brother, for working with me. Great opportunity here on the show. You guys, please do me a favor. Click all the links below in the description. You guys are amazing. Same time, same place next week. Love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We are out of here, everybody.